Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope everybody's doing great. In today's video, as you can see by the title, I'm going to be making a lakeside home in Bloxburg. Whoa, doesn't it look great? I sure do wish I could build something like that. At least I think this build is going to be called a lakeside home, but I'm still not completely sure yet, because there's not an actual lake in front of the house. But with that said, let's just get right into the video. I wanted to start off this video by saying thank you guys, because we just reached 1,000. All of y'all's support means a ton, and I definitely have a lot more videos coming up, so stay tuned. I was supposed to have this video out a lot sooner. The build I actually finished quite a while ago, but whenever I went to do the commentary, my old microphone just kind of died on me. I've been using it since like 2017. The microphone is super old, so I'm not surprised. I'm honestly shocked it's made it this long. So yeah, recently I was able to upgrade to a new microphone, so let me know if you hear a difference. But listening to it back, it sounds pretty similar. I was originally planning on posting on my community tab about reaching 1,000, but I thought it would just be better to include it in a video. Does anybody actually look at community posts though? I feel like I could post some sneak peeks or builds, just using it more often, but I don't really know if anybody looks at it, so definitely let me know. And if you'll have any ideas for celebrating reaching 1K, I'm open to any suggestions that you guys have. All of y'all's support really means a lot to me, and I'm really glad y'all enjoy the builds. I was thinking of maybe answering some questions, kind of like a Q&A, but just let me know. I'm open to anything. I should probably mention a little bit about the build before I start talking about random stuff. Out of all the builds I've made so far, this one was definitely the most complicated, at least for me. I didn't have a plan going into it. That's usually how most of my builds go, but I did have a picture and I tried replicating that as best as I could, so I can pop that up on screen for you guys. The main reason this build was pretty difficult for me was because there was a lot of basic shapes going on, specifically the front of the house. All the windows, which you can see me starting here, I had to use basic shapes for them, and I guess it's not the most complicated thing, it's just more time consuming, I guess. So I made sure to include all the parts where I use basic shapes in the video so you can see exactly what I'm doing. Looking at the build from the start, it kind of looks like a church, but I promise as the build progresses, it starts to look less church-like and more like a lakeside house, mostly from the wooden textures and structure details that you'll see later. This build definitely went through a lot of different stages, especially the back. The back of this build is actually crazy. Like, the front turned out pretty good, I'd say, but for some reason, anytime I get to the back, I'm just pretty much done, and nobody's gonna see it anyway for the most part. So I kind of lose a little bit of motivation, but I'll put a picture on screen of how it turned out. You would think that since it's been almost 4 weeks since I've last posted, it took me like all that time to actually build this house, but honestly, it didn't take that much time. I think it only took around maybe 4 or 5 days, but keep in mind that is with just the exterior. I didn't do anything with the interior yet. I just took like a week off, I think, after finishing my last build, and then once I actually got to start on this one, that's where everything kind of started to go wrong with the microphone and stuff. But it's okay, because we got to fix it now. I also apologize, I was kind of working on different stuff at the same time. I just switched around. I never really stuck to just one spot. I don't know why, I just get bored building the same thing in the same spot for like an hour, so I just kind of move around and try to make progress on different sides of the build. The roofing was also pretty difficult, as you can see me trying to finish it here. Pretty much all the roofing was basic shapes, so it definitely took a long time. There's probably a lot of better ways to build this, because by the time I finished the roofing, a lot of it was sticking inside the interior, which is totally fine for me because I wasn't planning on doing the interior anyway. I have like legit no money, I actually need to work. Check out how much I had by the start of the build, and then how much I had by the end, without the interior. But if you are, definitely keep that in mind, at least for the top story. I haven't taken geometry since like freshman year, guys, so I don't really know what shapes form certain angles. Definitely lacking in that area, but I tried my best, and I think I made it work okay. I did want to add a lake in front of the house, since the name is in fact a lake house, but I didn't end up doing that, I guess, since the plot, kind of by the mountain, has a lake in the back, so I thought that would be good enough. So it's unfortunate, even though this house is a lake house, there is in fact no lake in front of the house. But if you put the plot with the lake in the back, then it technically counts. Also, definitely let me know what you guys prefer, smaller builds or more larger builds. I feel like smaller builds are good because I can get more videos out of them quicker, but if y'all prefer larger builds and videos less often, I can also do that too. I'm good with either, because I feel like with the larger builds, you get a nicer and more complicated build, but less videos, so they both have their pros and cons. After I finally finished building the roof, for the most part at least, I still needed a little more details that I add later, but the main structures are done. If y'all are rebuilding this, then for sure keep that that in mind. It was kind of a pain. I'm sure there's other ways to do it better. But after that, I added in the colors. I'll put those on screen for you guys right now, as I've done for my other videos. And it's actually crazy how much it ties the build together. Like, the build goes from looking like a church to an actual lakeside house. And it took me a little bit to figure out which colors and textures I liked the most, but it turned out pretty good, I think. And they matched my original idea pretty well. And this is another reason why I didn't want to build a lake in front. I had this cool idea where I was gonna bring the porch down into the basement. It's one of those things that looks kind of complicated, but it really isn't. I started out by putting flat basic shapes along the basement floor and transformed them up right below the porch. It's kind of hard to explain, so you can just see what I did here. And then I also wanted to add in some more realistic basic shape elements to the build, so I thought doing some custom doors would be a pretty cool idea. I think it adds a little bit of realism to the build because you can make the doors open up instead of just staying closed. And the good thing about the doors that I made originally, I reused them as windows. I just wanted to add a little more depth, and I think it helped a lot. Sometimes just using the walls that Bloxburg has, since you can only go by the game's grid and you can't do like half walls, if that makes sense, you have to use basic shapes to add some more dimension. And then after that, this process was super boring, but I just was outlining all the windows to make them look 3D. And I basically just repeated that process for all the windows, and it just took a while. As I mentioned in an earlier video though, I've been doing summer reading, and I saved the worst one for last, and it's actually terrible. The book is set in third person, which is already off to a bad start for me because I find them less fun to read. Basically, the book kept saying, these aren't the actual words from the book, but it's pretty much how third person sounds like to me. She ventured into her house. She just found her favorite snack. Then she drifted into the living room and was watching her TV. Like, obviously that wasn't what the book was about, but do you get what I'm saying? It just seems like she's some type of like person that's being watched, and it just kind of weirds me out for some reason. And that's about it for the build. I didn't include the gardening in the video since I just reused the same like 4 different plants and just bunched them together in different areas, so you'll see it in the tour. And then any decals that I used for the trees and then different bushes, I'll have the creators linked in the description as always. And yeah, with that, I hope you guys enjoyed the tour. I'm super happy with how the build turned out, and definitely let me know what you guys think too. I've never made a lakeside house like this before, so I'm super happy to have attempted it. The only thing is that I wish I could have added some more vegetation, but I kind of ran out of money at the end, so it's okay. If y'all are rebuilding this, then you can definitely add some more vegetation just to make the build look a little more full. But yeah, with that said, I hope you guys enjoyed.